Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and hello and welcome to St. Croix Falls High School Gymnasium here in St. Croix. It is a Heart of the North conference matchup between the Hayward Hurricane and your St. Croix Falls Saints. The Hayward Hurricane come into tonight's matchup in third place in the Heart of the North. St. Croix Falls comes in on top, and they're a perfect 4-0 in the Heart of the North. Tonight's matchup will feature these two teams. Looking forward to a good night tonight here in St. Croix. St. Croix Falls coming off a victory on Tuesday night, a 5-set thriller as St. Croix Falls defeated Northwestern 3-2. For the Hayward Hurricane, they come into tonight's sorry, I'm choking on popcorn. They come into tonight's matchup here with a 1-3 record, and they lost on Tuesday night to the new to the Heart of the North Conference Unity Eagles. For the Hurricane, they are 14-12 overall this year, with a 1-3 Heart of the North Conference record. For St. Croix Falls, they sit on top of the Heart of the North, perfect 4-0, along with the Barron Bears. And for the Saints, they come into tonight's matchup with a 15-10 overall record, and again, that 4-0 perfect record in St. Croix Falls. Both teams just making their way onto the floor now for the beginning of team warm-ups. We will be back in a few minutes as these teams get ready for set number 1 here in St. Croix Falls. Again, it's Heart of the North Conference matchup volleyball here in St. Croix. Tonight's senior night, so they're getting a little bit of a late start as they had a little bit of a presentation between the JV and the varsity matches here in St. Croix. So we'll be ready to go here right around 7 o'clock. We'll have the national anthem starting lineups, and then we'll be ready to roll here with set number 1 here in St. Croix. Thanks for tuning in and watching here on We Are SCF. Whether you're cheering on the Hurricane or you're cheering on the Saints, we're glad that you've chosen to spend your evening with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes with Heart of the North Conference Volleyball coming up next. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to St. Croix Falls for tonight's Heart of the North conference matchup between the Hayward Hurricane and your St. Croix Falls Saints. A little bonus St. Croix Falls pep band action there to get this night started. It's senior night here in St. Croix, so a little bit of a late start for these teams as they're just finishing up their team warm-ups, and then we'll be ready to roll here in the next few minutes with starting lineups, or national anthem and then starting lineups. And then we will have set number one here in St. Croix Falls. Again, this is Heart of the North conference matchup. The Hayward Hurricane come into tonight's matchup with a 14-12 overall record. They're 1-3 in the Heart of the North, coming off a loss in their last match against the new to the Heart of the North, Unity Eagles. St. Croix Falls is a perfect 4-0. They're 15-10 overall, 4-0 in the Heart of the North, and they're coming off a big, exciting victory on Tuesday night against the Northwestern Tigers. It was a thrilling 5-set victory for the Saints. Want to welcome everyone who's tuning in here tonight for Heart of the North Volleyball. So thankful that you would tune in and spend time with us here tonight. Whether you're cheering on the Hurricane or you're cheering on the Saints, we're glad you're here. We'll do our best to be able to bring you this game tonight, let you know what's happening out there on the court. And we love being able to highlight all of the athletes, both for the Hurricane as well as for the Saints. It's been a good fall so far for the Saints. Again, volleyball 15-10 overall and a perfect 4-0 in the Heart of the North Conference. That puts them on top along with the Barron Bears, also undefeated at 4-0 in the Heart of the North. St. Croix Falls football team will be headed to Cumberland tomorrow night to take on the Beavers. So good luck to the Saints as they head to Cumberland. That game will not be on We Are SCF. We only broadcast the home games. If we have the stream link from the Cumberland High School, we'll do our best to be able to share that on our Facebook page. So if you can't make it to Cumberland, you can tune in and watch there. St. Croix Falls football will be back home next Friday night against the Barron Bears. We're looking forward to the final regular season home game for the Saints. Seems unbelievable that it could already be the final home game, but the Saints are hoping that it's not the final game of the final home game of the entire season, as Saints are eyeing up a home playoff game in a few weeks. Just 4 home games in the regular season for the Saints this year in football, 5 away. St. Croix Falls volleyball will be back in action on the 14th here in St. Croix Falls. That'll be the next game that'll be broadcast here on We Are SCF. We'll step away and listen to the St. Croix Falls Pep Band as they play the school song. All right, so St. Croix Falls Pep Band bringing some life to this gymnasium this evening. So for some pregame music, I know the athletes always enjoy having the Pep Band out there. Hopefully you enjoyed as well. St. Croix Falls Choir is going to be singing the national anthem here in just a couple minutes. We'll step away for that national anthem. We'll be back for the starting lineups after the anthem, and then we'll be ready to go for the start of tonight's matchup with the Hayward Hurricane and the St. Croix Falls Saints.
St. Croix Falls for tonight's Heart of the North Conference matchup between the Hayward Hurricanes and your St. Croix Falls Saints. Honor America, and those that finish our freedom, these rise and move your hats, place your hand over your heart, and welcome members of the St. Croix Falls High School Choir in the singing of our national anthem.
All right, we are ready to roll here in St. Croix Falls. Once again, it is the Hayward Hurricane and the St. Croix Falls Saints. The Hurricane come into tonight's matchup with a 14-12 overall record. Here's your starting lineups. Junior number 2, Abby Lard. Number 3, Melody Isham. Number 8, Colby Springer. Number 10, Charlie Christian. Number 12, Addison Stein. Number 13, Grace Schmidt. And sophomore, number 1, Lainey Duffy. That'll be your starting lineups for the Hayward Hurricane. And now here are your starting lineups for the home team, the St. Croix Falls Saints. Junior number 1, Britta Olson. Number 3, Allison Sellers. Number 4, McKenna Warner. Number 9, Evelyn Lindblom. Senior number 13, Lucy Brond. Senior number 14, Annie Stenberg. And number 7, Faith Allround. The Hurricane are coached by Michelle Smith. And the Saints are coached by Stacy Hoff. So we're ready to roll here in St. Croix Falls. Be starting off here in just any moment. Thanks again for tuning in and watching here on We Are SCF. Once again, it's senior night here in St. Croix Falls, so a little bit of a different starting lineup for the Saints. Evelyn Lindblom, Ann Stenberg, Lucy Brond, Allison Sellers. I believe that's all of the seniors that were recognized at the beginning of the game. And also get the start here tonight. The Hurricane are beginning the game here. It's Isham with a serve. She gets it over to the Saints. Big hit, but blocked out. That'll be a point for the Saints. Nice job there by the Saints. It was Allison Sellers, the senior. Now McKenna Warner back to serve. McKenna's serve comes across. And that'll be another point for the Saints as they get a big ace to get things started. McKenna Warner did a nice job at the service line last game against Northwestern, and she starts off here with a point. St. Croix Falls up 2-0. Warner's serve comes across. Schmidt gets it back to the Saints. Britta gets up. Just got a fingertip on it, but the Hurricane are able to keep it alive. Britta sets herself up and gets her first kill of the night. Nice set there by number 9, Evelyn Lindblom. McKenna Warner back to serve once again. St. Croix Falls up 3-0 here early. Warner's serve is in for an ace. So quick start here for the Saints as they jump up to a 4-0 lead right away. Warner back to serve once again. Serve sails long this time, and that'll be a point for the Hurricane. Back to serve now for the Hurricane, number 8, Colby Springer. Here comes Springer's serve that's picked up by the Saints. Tipped over by Sellers. Blocked that time by Britta. Britta sets it up. Lindblom with a set. Britta with a bomb. Lindblom with a nice job there as she sets up Britta for a nice kill, her second of the night. Allison Seller back to serve now for the Saints. Ann Stenberg checked in. That goes just long. So Ann Stenberg checked in for the Saints now. Faith comes back in as well as Sellers takes a seat. Back to serve now for the Hurricane is Addison Stein. Stein's serve comes across, picked up by Faith and sent across by Britta. Free ball comes, and that's going to be a point for the Hurricane. I believe that the Saints were in the net or under the net. So Stein back to serve once again for the Hurricane. 5-3 now. Lindblom sets. Stenberg tried to punch it across, but into the net. That'll be a point for the Hurricane. 5-4 now is our score. Stein sends it across and out. That'll be a point for the Saints. Back to serve now for the Saints is number 9, Evelyn Lindblom. Evelyn's serve goes across, picked up by the Hurricane. Now free ball sent back to the Saints. Lindblom sets. Britta taps it across. Hurricanes can't keep it alive as it goes out of bounds. That'll be a point for the Saints. Lindblom will be back to serve once again. 7-4. Saints up by 3. Lindblom, strong serve. Stenberg sends it across. Up into the ceiling, now set. And sent across there by Schmidt. Britta goes back up. And another kill for Britta. That's 3. And that'll put Lindblom back at the line once again. Isham kept it alive for the Hurricane. Saints got to send it across, and they do. Now it stays alive. Nice volley here by both teams. Britta sets back up again. Isham sets it off of Lindblom's arm, and that'll be a point for the Hurricane. Checking in now for the Hurricane is, got to see number here, number 6, Donica Kortendick. So Kortendick back to serve now for the Hurricane. Her serve comes across. Faith Allram picks it up. Lindblom sets. Braun spikes it. Nice block by the front line of the Hayward Hurricane. It was Laird and Isham on the block. Kortendick back to serve again. Her serve comes across. And that's going to be an ace. So St. Croix Falls lead is cut to just 1 now. It's Kortendick back to serve again. Sends the knuckleball across. Lindblom sets. Stenberg sends it across. Up into the ceiling. Britta sends it to the back line. Duffy keeps it alive. And it's going to be Schmidt who brought it back over. Now Braun drives off the blocker. That'll be a point for the Saints. Back to serve now for the Saints is Britta Olson. Olson backs up to the gymnasium wall. Big, powerful jump serve comes, but into the net. That'll be a point for the for the Hurricane. We'll get there, folks. Back to serve now once again is Grace Schmidt. Schmidt's serve comes across. Now the free ball sent across by Lindblom, I think it was, who found the soft spot and scores. Lean checks into the game now for the Saints. Faith Allram's serve. Miscommunication on the Hurricane side. That'll be a point for the Saints. On that one, Kortendick as well as Duffy just had some miscommunication with who was going to take it, and Saints come away with the point. Serve comes back. Isham sets to Laird, and it's going to be Lean who gets the kill, or the shot off the blocker. Faith Allram serving once again. Faith serve comes across. Saints setting it up. Braun with a big drive and a kill. Lucy Braun, the senior on senior night, heating up early. St. Croix Falls up 13-8. Faith Allram back the line once again to serve. Serve goes back line. Isham sets it up. Saints got to keep it alive, and they do. Warner sends it over the free ball. Isham. Lean is blocked, but the Saints keep it alive. Lean gets another opportunity. Sent back again. This time it's going to be Braun. Braun drives into the blockers and scores a point. Hayward Hurricane going to take a timeout. We'll take it along with them and be back after this message from our sponsor.
I'm Dr. John Campa. I'm a board-certified orthopedic surgeon practicing general orthopedics here at Burnett Medical Center, and I've been practicing for 9 years. We do a lot of surgeries of the hand, such as carpal tunnel surgery, trigger finger releases, mass excisions. We treat a lot of fractures, both operative and non-operative, hip and knee replacement as well. Patients want quality care and they want it close to home. Fortunately, we can provide that right here at Burnett Medical Center.
All right, we are back. It's 14-8 in favor of the St. Croix Falls Saints here in set number 1. Again, it's senior night here in St. Croix Falls. Fun to see those seniors. Fun to see those seniors out there on the court. Just waiting for the Hurricane to make their way back out. Out for the Hurricane, we got Abby Laird, Melody Isham, Grace Schmidt, Lainey Duffy, and Danica Kortendick. That serve was long. That'll put Duffy at the line for the Hurricane. Serve goes back to the row or back row. Sent over by Lean. Isham sets. Springer with a big drive, but just long. That'll be a point for the Saints. And that'll put Lucy Braun back at the line for the Saints. Duffy keeps it alive. Sent over by Springer. Warner with a big drive. Back row, Saints keep it alive. Nice job there by number 12. That's Addison Stein as she found that soft spot just over the blockers and dropped it in for a point for the Hurricane. Charlie Christian checks in to the game for the Hurricane. They're going to say that ball was in, so that'll be a point for the Hurricane. Sorry about that. I was distracted. Isham's serve is long. That'll be a point for the Saints. 16-11 now is our score. McKenna Warner back to serve for the Saints. Warner's serve is over. Duffy picks it up. Isham slaps it towards the net, and Stein wasn't able to get there in time. That'll be a point for the Saints. McKenna Warner back to serve once again for the Saints. McKenna's serve off the arms of Grace Schmidt. Another point for the Saints. Checking in now for the Hurricane. Number 11. Unfortunately, I don't have number 11 on my roster, so I apologize to the Hurricane fans. I do my best to be able to give each athlete a shout out as Warner hits it into the net. Back to serve now for the Hurricane is number 8, Colby Springer. Springer serve comes across, picked up by Allran. Set, left-handed hit. They're going to see a double hit there by the Hurricane, so a point for the Saints. That left-handed hit there was by Lean. And Lean now at the line. She serves across. Big hit by number 11. But they're going to say 4 hits. They're going to say that hit went into the net and wasn't hit by the blockers. And so that was 4 hits on the Hurricane. Lean's serve comes across. Christian with a drive. Now Britta with a drive and out. That'll be a point for the Saints. Off the blockers and went out. I think that the Hurricanes' question wasn't that a lot like the last one and not actually blocked but into the net, but officials say it was blocked. Big drive by number 11. Nice job. Lindblom sets. Britta spikes it into the blockers. And that was into Christian's hand, and that made its way out of bounds, and that'll be a point for the Saints. 22-12 now. Saints up by 10. Leans ace as she sneaks one in there. Goes for a jump serve. And it proved to be effective on that one. Warner sets. Lindblom keeps it alive. Stenberg sends it across to the back of the gym and a point. And Stenberg picks up a point for the Saints. 24-12 now. Game point, or set point here. Lean sends it across. Isham sets. Christian brings it across. Lindblom goes for this surprise set. Hurricane ready for it that time. And right back at him is number 11 for the Hurricane. Just said, I can do that too, as she sent it across and scores a point for the Hurricane. Now back to serve is Stein. Stein's serve comes across off of Warner, and the Hurricane pick up another one, close it to 10. Saints trying to get this final point in set number 1. Here comes Stein's second serve. Comes across. Warner picked it up. Lindblom sets. Olsen drives, or kept it alive and scores. So St. Croix Falls picks up set number 1 here in St. Croix Falls with a 25-14 victory. Set number 2 coming up in just a moment. But first, a word from one of our sponsors.
My friends know me as Derek, but I'm also Master Sergeant Raxter.
During this timeout, I want to let you know about one of our sponsors here on We Are SCF is the Star Education Foundation, and they are having Taco Bingo October 11th here in St. Croix Falls. Dinner is at 2 o'clock, bingo at 4 o'clock. The Star Education Foundation, so instrumental here in St. Croix Falls, raising support, raising funds, supporting so many different projects throughout the St. Croix Falls School District, from the elementary all the way up through the high school. Please do us a favor and come out and support the Star Education Foundation and Taco Bingo coming up on October 11th. Again, dinner at 2, bingo at 4. Hopefully you can make it out and be a part of that broadcast or a part of that game, not broadcast, in St. Croix Falls. Big shout out to Star Education Foundation. Again, they are one of our sponsors, one of our key sponsors here on We Are SCF, helping to make these broadcasts possible. So wherever you're watching from, whether it's St. Croix Falls and you're cheering on the Saints, or whether you're tuning in from Hayward, we're glad you're here. Glad you're able to watch this, and hopefully you're able to cheer on your favorite athlete, your favorite team here tonight. That's what it's all about, high school sports. It doesn't feel like fall outside, but it is. Tomorrow night's football game, temperature at opening kick will probably be in the 80s. Not your typical fall football. I remember a middle school football game not that long ago, on October 5th, I think it was, and we had almost a foot of snow. It was Snow Bowl. There were moms that were out shoveling the yard lines before or in between plays, and St. Croix Falls was victorious over Unity, if I do recall correctly. Starting off set number 2, it's going to be McKenna Warner back for the Saints. Warner, Braun, Ulram, Lean, Olson, and who else is in there? I think it's Olivia Shimon also in there here to start off set number 2. Warner's serve starts with an ace. So McKenna Warner once again deadly from the line. Second serve comes across. Isham sets. Stein kind of punches it across and scores. Unconventional, but it scores nonetheless. Abby Laird back to serve for the Hurricane. Her serve comes across, picked up by Ulram. Britta punches it across, blocked by Stein. So the Hurricane get their first lead of the evening, 2-1 here at the beginning of set number 2. Springer back to serve. Springer's serve picked up. Lean sends it across. Isham sets. Christian spikes. Ulram keeps it alive. Olsen drives and scores. So Ulram goes to the floor to keep it alive, and then Olsen drives it to the opposite corner for the point. Lean on to serve for the Saints. Knuckleball serve comes across. Isham sets. Christian drives. Blocked by the Saints. That was Shimon and Olsen combining for the block and the point. Riley Lean back to serve once again. Lean, I believe the only Saints server that serves from the left side, to put it into the net that time, and a point for the Hurricane. Stein will be back to serve for the Hurricane. Stein's knuckleball serve comes and then up into the ceiling as it went off of Ulram's arm. Again, I believe that St. Croix has a little bit of a lower ceiling, as it seems like every night so many balls up into the ceiling. It's one thing that the Saints have been able to use to their advantage, as they are ready for it most often, but that time unable to. Stein gets an ace, and the Hurricane lead 5-3 now. Biggest lead of the night for the Hurricane. Stein back to serve. Her jump serve this time comes across, actually into the net. And so the Saints score. Abby Palmer checks into the game now for the first time tonight. Back to serve. Palmer did a nice job on Tuesday and sees her first action here tonight. Isham sets. Drive across. Olsen drives down, but out. Line judge right on that one. Christian checks out. Checking in for the Hurricane. Number 7, Beckwith. So Beckwith's serve comes across. Braun goes up, and a big spike knocks Isham to the ground for the point. So 6-5 now. And that puts Olsen back on the line. Olsen's serve comes across and goes out of bounds. St. Croix Falls with the ace. St. Croix Falls ties it up here in set number 2, 6-6. Olsen back to serve once again. Jump serve comes across. Saints unable to keep it alive as Shimon got that one caught in her arms. Back into the game is Kortendick, replacing number 8, Springer. Back to serve now is Grace Schmidt. Schmidt's serve comes across. Olsen sets. Shimon drives and scores. St. Croix Falls gets the serve back and the point as they tie it up 7-7. Lean checks back in for the Saints as well. Back to serve now for the Saints is Shimon. So Jocelyn Shimon, jump serve comes across. Nice job by the Saints. It was Duffy, or by the Hurricane. Duffy got down and got that, and then it came across and scored on the hit by Lean. Shimon's second serve comes across off the neck area, and a point for the Saints. That was Grace Schmidt who was trying to receive that one, I believe. Shimon back again. Duffy picks it up. And that time it was Kortendick who couldn't quite get it over the net. 10-7 now, Saints lead. Shimon back to serve once again. Duffy picks up once again. Saints keep it alive. Warner slaps it to the back line and scores. 11-5 is our score as the Hurricane take a timeout here in set number 2. We'll take that timeout along with them and be right back after a message from one of our sponsors. St. Croix Falls leading here in set number 2. (11-7). It'll be Jocelyn Shimon at the line for the Saints. Her serve skips off the top of the net. Warner tried to keep it alive. I believe it was Warner and Laird who went up together, and it was Laird who won that battle. as it dropped in on the Saints side. Back to serve now for the Hurricane is Duffy. Duffy's serve comes across. Palmer into the ceiling. Now Olsen. Now Braun to the corner. Just long. 11-9 now is our score. Duffy back to serve again. Her serve picked up by Palmer. Isham sets. Stein sends it across. Olsen. Olsen again, but it'll be a point for the Hurricane. They're going to say it was a double hit, I believe. So Duffy still serving for the Hurricane. Cut the lead to 1. And long. Saints stayed with it as long as they could and then pulled back at the very last minute and just in time as they picked up the point. And then it's going to be Braun, who's back to serve now for the Saints. Her serve into the net. Saints had a lot of unforced errors, service errors, in their match against the Tigers on Tuesday night. But thankfully, haven't seen that here tonight. And also, thankfully, Saints were able to overcome that and get the victory on Tuesday in 5 sets. Lean brings it across. Stein keeps it alive. Isham sends it across. Braun. Olsen. Warner scores. So Warner with a big drive and a kill. Now she's back at the line to serve. McKinnon Warner winds up. Duffy. Hurricane can't quite control that one. That'll be another point for the Saints. Warner back to serve once again. This time off the hands of Grace Schmidt. That'll be another point for the Saints. And now it's 15-11. St. Croix Falls up here in set number 2. 10 points away from victory. Once again, want to let you know about Taco Bingo happening October 11th here in St. Croix Falls at the high school gymnasium. Taco Bingo, a great opportunity for you to come out and support the Star Education Foundation as they support all things St. Croix Falls. So many different projects that the Star Education Foundation have sponsored and supported throughout the years here in St. Croix Falls. And Taco Bingo, a great opportunity for you to be able to sponsor the Star Education Foundation and help them be able to do lots and lots of good here in the community and especially here in the St. Croix Falls School District. October 11th, 2 o'clock dinner, 4 o'clock bingo. Warner sends it across. Duffy returns the favor back to the Saints. Allram bumps it up, and now the free ball comes across. Isham sets. Drive by number 6, Kortendick. But the Saints are going to pick up another point there as I don't know if it was Olivia Shimon or if it was Lean, but the Saints get the point nonetheless. Warner back to serve once again. Strong serve as an ace in the corner. 17-11 now. Knuckleball serve. Isham sets. Stein drives, but too long. That'll be a point for the Saints. Warner back to serve once again. McKenna's serve comes across. Duffy picks it up. Isham sets. Christian drives it across. Britta goes back up, blocked, kept alive though nicely. That was Isham who dove and saved it. Not only saved it, but was able to put it across over the net and keep this volley alive. Lean with a big drive. Isham bumps. Spike is no good by Kortendick. Oh, they're going to say I'm not sure what the call was there. I think that illegal hit possibly. But the Hurricane get the point nonetheless. So 18-12 now. Hurricanes served by Springer into the net. 19-12 now. Riley Lean serves it across. Isham sets. Christian hits it back. Olsen with a big drive. And into the blockers. Front line for the Hurricane. Stand strong and get the point. Addison Stein back to serve. For the Hurricanes, Stein's serve picked up by Allram. Now Warner. Shimon sends it across. That block into the net. Point for the Saints. Olivia Shimon back to serve now. St. Croix Falls 20. Hurricane 19 or 13. Braun with a big drive. Duffy keeps it alive. Christian sends it across. They're going to get a double hit here, I believe, if they do. So that'll be a point for the Saints. That'll put Shimon back on the line once again. 21-13 here in set number 2. Sorry, I just realized now I didn't have the set count correct on the scoreboard. Saints are up 1-0. Britta with a big drive. Isham sets. Christian sends it across. Britta with a big drive. And St. Croix Falls picks up a point there. Duffy. Isham. Sent across by Schmidt. And Schmidt picks up the point for the Hurricane. Abby Palmer checking back in for the Saints. In for the Hurricane, number 7. That is Beckwith. And this will be Beckwith back to serve. Her serve comes across. Olsen sets. Shimon sends it across. Duffy. Isham tried, but St. Croix Falls gets the point. I don't know why. I'm not complaining about the officials. I just literally don't know. Olsen sets. Warner drives. Isham sets. Springer, I believe it was. Or Schmidt, I'm sorry, had the drive. Now Warner sends it back across again. Good volley here. It's going to go back to Duffy. Warner just got a fingertip on it, sent it back. Good volley here by both teams. Palmer keeps it alive. Warner sends it back over to the Hurricane. Isham sets. A big drive, and it's kept alive. What a volley here, and it's still alive. Both teams back and forth. The Hurricane have made several big plays, and the Hurricane come away with the point. Abby Laird had a big play, big drive on that one. Several digs, keeping it alive, and they pick up the point. That's a hard-earned point there by the Hurricane. Back and forth. 2 or 3 different times I thought that was over and the Saints were going to get the point, but the Hurricane kept it alive, and they get another one. The Hurricane kept that alive, and St. Croix Falls now finds themselves leading 16. Served by Schmidt comes across. And another point for the Hurricane. Grace Schmidt back to serve once again for the Hurricane. Little rally here for Hayward. Climbing back in set number 2. Shimon. Duffy keeps it out. And no magic that time as St. Croix Falls picks up point number 24. 1 point away from sealing set number 2. St. Croix Falls trying to stay perfect in the heart of the North. Duffy. Isham sets. Sent across by Laird. And it's going to be the Hurricane who pick up the point. Keeping set 2 alive here in St. Croix. Duffy back to serve for the Hurricane. Her serve comes across, picked up by Braun. Kept alive by Allram and sent back to the Hurricane. Isham. Stein. Olsen sets. Big hit, but into the net by Kortendick, and that was point number 25. And St. Croix Falls picks up win in set number 2. Set number 3 coming up in just a moment.
At Burnett Medical Center, we celebrate all walks of life. From our very first steps to our sprinting strides, from on-the-job site to afterlife retirement. At BMC, we embrace every pair of feet that walks through our doors. Our comprehensive care knows no bounds. It's for the newborns, the professionals, the adventurers, and those who've traveled many miles. We're here to support you. Your journey is unique, and so is our approach to your well-being. Step into BMC, where comprehensive healthcare meets compassion. Burnett Medical Center, providing healthcare for all walks of life.
So welcome back here in St. Croix Falls, where St. Croix Falls has a 2-0 lead. Heading into set number 3. Once again, I want to thank all of our sponsors for making these broadcasts possible. You see those sponsors scrolling across the bottom of the screen. We are so thankful for their sponsorship of We Are SCF, helping us to be able to bring to you all of the home games, or as many of the home games as we can, of St. Croix Falls Athletics. We'll be back on the air next. I believe next Friday will be the next We Are SCF game. That'll be football. St. Croix Falls will be hosting the Barron Bears. Good luck to the St. Croix Falls Saints as they head to Cumberland tomorrow night to take on the Beavers. Our next volleyball game on We Are SCF will be October 14th here in St. Croix Falls. Hopefully, if you can't make it out in person, you'll tune in online. Melody Isham back to serve for the Hurricane. Her serve comes across. Duffy pops it up. Warner with a big drive, long. And the Hurricane take the 1-0 lead here in set number 3. Isham back to serve once again. Her serve comes across. Nice serve, but kept alive by Faith Allram. Warner sends it back after a nice play by Braun. Isham sets. Stein pops it up. And into the antenna. That'll be a point for the Saints. So 1-1 now is our score. McKenna Warner back to serve here for the Saints. Warner's serve goes up. Duffy picks it up, and that's an ace. Warner back to serve once again. St. Croix Falls up 2-1 here in set number 3. Her knuckleball serve off the hands of Duffy, kept alive by Stein and down. If it hits the ceiling, it's live as long as it stays on your side. But if it goes off the ceiling and then onto the other team's side, that's a point for the other team. Lean with a big hit as that ball just crept over onto the Saints side, and Riley Lean said, "Get back over there." Warner back to serve once again. Knuckleball serve is just long. Colby Springer back to serve for the Hurricane. Her serve picked up by Allram. Now Warner. Lean with a big drive. Duffy keeps it alive. Warner sets up. Olsen drives down. Another kill for Olsen. Riley Lean back to serve now for the Saints. Her serve. Charlie Christian just laughs because the ball came by her and she just stuck her foot out and kicked it to the back of the gym. And a big smile on her face like, what did I just do? Isham sets. And blocked by the Saints front line. I believe that was Grace Schmidt with the spike. And we're going to get a timeout here. We'll take it along with them with another word from one of our sponsors. All right, St. Croix Falls with a 5-point lead here in set number 3. They lead 2-0 over the Hayward Hurricanes. St. Croix Falls, again, trying to stay perfect in the Heart of the North and move to 5-0. Staying atop the Heart of the North along with the Barron Bears. Lean. Isham sets. Christian brings it across. Lean keeps it alive. Shimon slaps it across and scores. Shimon just trying to reset, sends it over and ends up coming away with a point. Lean back to serve again. Her serve comes across. Set by Isham. Big drive by Schmidt. Saints keep it alive. Warner sends it to the back. Duffy pops it up. Christian taps it over, but not enough. Tried to sneak it in there and just didn't get quite enough on it. Riley Lean back to serve once again. Doing a nice job at the line here tonight. Schmidt slaps it across. Warner sets. Olsen drives just wide. Point for the Hurricanes. Sorry about that. Abby Laird checks it back into the game. Stein jump serves. Christian redirects it, but the Saints keep it alive. Laird with a nice drive. Allram gets it back across to the Hurricane. Grace Schmidt finds a soft spot. Nobody there. That'll be a point for the Hurricane. Hurricane will be back in action next. Let's see. St. Croix Falls will be back in action on the 4th at Prairie Farm on Saturday, or against Prairie Farm. Hurricane pick up that point as well, 9-5. Hayward back in action next on the 7th, hosting Barron. So a big game for the Hurricane as they pick up another point. Climbing back into it, 9-6 now. Stein still serving for the Hurricane. Jump serve comes across. Braun keeps it alive. And a set just a little too high there for Olsen. Maybe some miscommunication. And Stein picks up another one. Hurricane down by just 2 now. Allram has the ball go off her hands. Saints up by just 1. Hurricane climbing back into it here in St. Croix in set number 3. Stein's serve comes across. Allram brings it back to the Hurricane. Isham to Laird. And Laird redirects the block down, and we're all tied up at 9. Coach Hoff cheers on her team and says, let's go, get it together here. Stein back at the line again. Her serve comes across. Warner sets. Long drive by Shimon, but touched by the Hurricane. That'll be a point for the Saints, and the Saints breathe a sigh of relief. Shimon back to serve again. Shimon's serve comes, this time now Laird drives it. Olsen with a big drive off of Duffy's hands. Another point for the Saints. So the Hurricane were able to tie it up at 9. Now Saints have rallied off 2 in a row. Warner sets. Braun taps and scores. Make that 3 in a row now for the Saints. Olivia Shimon, her serve comes across. Isham sets. Laird drives. Kept alive by Olsen. Tipped across and scores. St. Croix Falls, 4 in a row now. After the Hurricane tied it up at 9. Shimon back to serve once again. Her serve comes across and picked up another point. So 5 straight points now. And checking into the game is number 6, Corton Dick. replacing number 13, Grace Schmidt. Shimon back to serve once again for the Saints, trying to make it 6 in a row. And she does. Shimon trying to make it 7 in a row. And she does. And timeout is called. So St. Croix Falls watched as Hayward climbed back and scored about 5 in a row to tie it up at 9. And then they rallied off 7 in a row of their own. And they now lead 16-9 in set number 3. St. Croix Falls is up 2 sets to none. Once again, don't forget about Taco Bingo, October 11th. 2 o'clock dinner, 4 o'clock bingo. Great prizes by local businesses, great food, great event, great cause. No excuse. Get out and have a great night on October 11th. Shimon serves again. And that is touched by the Saints. That'll be a point for the Hurricanes. So Hurricanes stop the bleeding momentarily. Checking back in for the Saints, number 9, Evelyn Lindblom. Back to serve now for the Hurricane, number 9. I think it was number 9. Britta with a big bomb and a score. It was number 9 serving. It was Delisle serving. St. Croix Falls checks in Ann Stenberg back into the game for the Saints. And Britta Olson is back to serve, waiting for the whistle, and she gets it. Olson's serve comes across. Isham sets. Big drive by number 6, Kortendick. 17-11 now. Back to serve is Kortendick. Her serve comes across. Olson pops it up. Warner sends it back to the Hurricane. Nice block that time by Stenberg. The senior gets up and denies at the net for the point. And now Stenberg back to serve. Stenberg's serve comes across, drops down. And a point for the Saints. So Ann Stenberg back to serve once again. Serve comes across. Duffy picks it up. We're going to see here if there was a reach. See if St. Croix Falls reached across. They are going to give it to the Hurricane. So it'll be 19-12 is our score. Nice job by Ann Stenberg. Does a great job out there. Gets a block at the net. A couple beautiful serves. Duffy on to serve now for the Hurricane. Her serve goes wide and gives the ball back to the Saints and also gives the Saints a point. Lindblom checks out. Shimon checks in. Braun back to serve. Braun's serve comes across. Set. And big hit there. That was number 11. But a point goes to the Saints. 21-12 now. Braun back to serve once again. Her serve comes across. Duffy goes to Stein. Stein brings it back to the Saints. Warner with a big drive. Off the net and then down to the ground. 22-12. Allison Sellers checking back in, replacing Riley Lean. Braun back to serve once again. Braun's serve comes across. Nice set. Big drive, but too long. A drive by Springer. Scores another point for the Saints. Saints 2 points away here from a 3-set victory, improving to 5-0 in the Heart of the North Conference. Hurricane will drop to 1-4. Braun with an ace. And here we are, game, set, match. Braun back to serve. Lucy Braun, the senior on senior night, serves it across. Kept alive. Sellers gets the hit. Stein. And right in front of the outstretched arms of Britta Olsen. Oops, wrong point there. Isham back to serve here for the Hurricane. Isham's serve off the arm of Britta Olsen. Another point for the Hurricane. Hurricane have played scrappy volleyball here tonight. What I mean by that is they have not stopped fighting. Several times they rallied for a big volley. And that one volley back and forth, I think 3 separate times. The Hurricane made outstanding plays just to keep it alive, and then they ended up coming away with the point. Run long. So Hurricane, with their back against the wall, have rallied off 3 straight, trying to keep it alive here. Melody Isham serving for the Hurricane, sends it across. Warner sets, and driving into the net is Isham back to serve once again. And Sellers on senior night picks up the final point. Nice job by the Saints as they improve to 5-0 in the Heart of the North. Good luck to them on Saturday as they will be competing on Saturday morning. Good luck to the Saints. Good luck to the Hurricane the rest of the season as they will be hosting the Barron Bears in their next competition. The other undefeated team in the Heart of the North, at least coming in tonight. So congratulations to the Saints. Good luck to the Hurricane in the rest of the season, and we look forward to bringing you more of these contests as well as other St. Croix Falls athletics here on We Are SCF. This has been Chris with SCF, with We Are SCF, saying go Saints.